All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly episode of the Unfiltered, Unapologetically Black, Uncensored podcast, Speak to the Mic. I am your host, Marlon Joseph. And here on this show, we like to do three things consistently. One, we like to create content and provide information to our Black community that they can apply to their everyday lives. We like to also acknowledge and even bring awareness to the very issues that we deal with on an everyday basis as Black people. And furthermore, we like to give our flowers to our Black men and women who are making immediate impacts in the community as it pertains to moving the culture forward. And so with this month being Physical Health and Wellness Month, I want to make sure that I continue on with the topic by introducing to you guys two members of the founding movement and group, Movers and Pacers, which I am somewhat of, I am inconsistent and inactive.
You with us.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to make sure I give these Black men their just due, because they're doing something very important and just tremendously well in terms of being able to incorporate our physical health and wellness as it pertains to making sure we're taking better care of ourselves with all the different sprint workout sessions that they oftentimes do. And so without further ado, I want to make sure I introduce these guys properly. So Sean is one of the founding members of Movers and Pacers, as well as this Black brother with this really nice Tribe Called Quest picture in the background. And I do Mr. Chaos. Great to have you guys on this show, man, to definitely speak to what you guys have been doing with this group and with this movement.
Hey, man, thanks for having us.
I really appreciate
So
it.
I think I'll let Chaos introduce himself first, because my introduction will kind of stem from his remarks. So Chaos, if you want to introduce yourself first.
By all means, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure, man. Name's Chaos. I'm an artist. I'm a marketing professional, and the founder of Movers and Pacers Run Club. We started in 2013 here in Atlanta, Georgia, and our goal then is the same as it is now, just to encourage the running habit for people in the city of Atlanta, try to get people off the couch and active. So been around going on 8 years. We run 4 times a week right now, and all of our runs are free, and it's been a beautiful journey.
Yeah, appreciate you being on the show, man, and definitely appreciate you for that introduction. Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So I am one of the leaders of the organization, and my personal run history just kind of it derives from some health issues that I was born with, and then with moving to Atlanta from Mississippi, a friend of mine introduced me to Movers and Pacers as just like a run club, run organization. So I said, okay, cool. Let me come check it out. And I literally met Chaos on my first run with the group. I can name it to the date, January 11, 2015. And I'm like running our regular 5K route. And I'm not even I think half a mile in. And I'm walking, and somebody comes and pats me on the shoulder. And Chaos is like, come on, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. I'm like, okay, well, let me keep going. The man in charge told me to keep running. Let me keep running. But I said all that to say, I started with the group as a person who wasn't a runner, and the group has influenced me so heavily to where running is literally a part of my life now. I'm a Chicago marathoner. I've done a lot of different run-based events where I can go out and tell people I'm a runner. It's not just something I do. It's a part of who I am because of this organization. So with that, I've taken interest in the things that Movers and Pacers is about, and have worked to help kind of elevate and culminate all of that culture to keep the organization growing.
Okay, and that's a tremendous thing to actually embark on and definitely take hold of, and even go further than where it started, right? So I actually found Movers and Paces personally on Instagram, and it was through a mutual friend that did it consistently as well. And so I thought it was pretty intriguing and learned about it. I was like, okay, well, I'm physically fit for the most part. I'm active. I'm in the gym. I play basketball, but I definitely want to increase that intensity when it comes to my everyday workouts, and just adding new and different things to my everyday workouts. And so I do appreciate you for saying that. Now, Chaos, I have a question as it pertains to this movement. So how did this movement, how did this organization even how did it come about? How did it start?
Yeah, I mean, it really came kind of from a personal aspect first. I say around like 2007, 8, 9, even. There was in the city of Atlanta, there was a lot of open bar parties that would happen, and I would get invited to all of them somehow, and I would go to all of them. And me and my friends would go to all of them, and we meet up there, and so there was a lot of drinking involved. And I think late 2008, a good friend of mine passed away. He had hypertension. And I think when he passed, that kind of became a turning point, just to kind of look in the mirror and say, okay, what am I doing every day? I'm not eating the best. I'm drinking too much, all of these different things. How can I just try to be a little healthier? So I think it started with food, just trying to kind of understand my diet and try to eat a little better. And then, it became like trying to work out. I didn't like the gym. I felt like the gym was kind of like too intimidating because I'm not a gym dude, and you go in there and everybody's grunting and lifting everything, and so it wasn't my vibe to be in the gym. But I wanted to find a way to be active, so I started to try to run because I felt like it was the easiest thing I could do. I could literally just walk outside of my door, and not have to have any equipment and just run around the block. And at the time, I was living with my cousin, with roommates, and I remember, I ran like 3 blocks, and I was winded. I was done, and I came back in the house, and my cousin was clowning me and just laughing at me, and I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "Oh, that's it? That's all you got?" And I'm tired. I feel like I did something, and he's just clowning me. So that kind of became like some motivation. Like, all right, I got to go harder. I want to get better. Kind of at this running thing. So I started to look around the city for like running groups or run clubs, so to speak. And I found a few, in different places around the city. And as I went out to join, I kind of learned that, a lot of them were, created and ran by people who had been running for a lot of years, or people who have been running across country since they were kids, or whatever. And it just wasn't a welcoming experience, for somebody who was just trying to kind of get into running. And I remember one time, I went to run with a group, and they peeled out on me, and I didn't know the route that well either. And everybody was just out. Like, I couldn't even see anybody anymore in the horizon. And I turned around, man, went back to my car and just like, all right, I'm out, and went home. So from that, it was like, yo, there needs to be a place where, people like me who, I'm a running novice, at this point, and I want to get into it and I want to get active, but I don't want to run with these people. So there has to be another place. And just at the time, there wasn't. So I realized that, it wasn't going to exist kind of unless I started it. Yeah. And so that's kind of where the birth of Movers and Pacers came from. And I started around my birthday. So that's why we started in November. A lot of people always ask me, why would you start when it's cold? Because it was really just my birthday, and it was kind of like I want to do something different, starting the year off. And I just decided that I was going to do it. Didn't know anything about, starting a run club or running a run club, but just pulled the trigger on it and said I'm going to do it. And reached out to a few like-minded individuals and peers, and invited some folks out to our first run. And about like 7 to 8 people came out. And, that just kind of started something. We started our first run on a Sunday because that was the day everybody could meet up. And we've been running on Sundays for, 8 years later.
All right. That's incredible to know that, man, especially given that, simplistically. So if you think about how simple it is for people who are not gym heads, to your point, right? So they obviously trying to find ways to, get in better shape. And so, doing cardio, running or jogging or just power walking and things like that, that's something that simply everyone can possibly do, right? And versus going to the gym and lifting those heavy weights and being, oh, well, I'm getting in shape this way. But the fact that you guys, the fact that you specifically took on this and said, you know what, this is going to be something I'm going to start based on the experience that I had or lack thereof. And I'm thinking, okay, well, Atlanta is a great city to basically create something like that and have it take on a movement of its own. The fact that it's grown in 8 years, how would you, Sean, I want to ask you this question. So how would you say the traction has grown when it comes to this organization or this movement? Like from the 8 people that you said you guys started off with till however many people that you guys have now on a consistent basis, just rotating out the different days that you guys, have different, workout events?
For me, I think I came just after 2 years of the combination of MMP. And the thing that I love is the system that we've kind of created, and as well as a community dynamic. So I came, MMP was started, I think it was November of 2013. Mm-hmm. I came right after I came after the 1 year anniversary. So I came like 2 years old. And people are coming out, they know what's going on. And it's very, like Chaos said, it's not intimidating. So people are like, oh, even if I've never run before, let me come out here and test or see how I do. Even if I walk, it's something that gets people in the athletic space where they can try something and they can say that they tried it with us. But we never transition to where it's competitive. Almost 8 years later, it's still non-competitive. We have different subsidiaries, but Movers and Paces itself is still welcoming to anybody. I was telling somebody this earlier at Flagship, actually, you can come out here and walk, or you can come out here and run a sub-5, sub-6 minute pace. Like our spectrum is so grand that everybody is welcome and able to come and do what it is that we do. Yeah. As far as the lifespan is concerned, different people come. I was actually at an event, a leaders event several years ago in DC. Another captain and myself, we went up there and we toured this facility. We learned a lot about different run companies and cultures across the country, just to see like what we could learn, what we could possibly bring back to Atlanta, what works in other places, what works here, what doesn't work here. And a conversation that I had with this one captain, because they're seasonal runners. There are people in other places, people will say, oh, I don't like running in the cold. It's too cold. Or people will say, oh, it's too hot. I want to do Sunday fun day. I want to do brunch. I want to, live life. I want to travel. I don't want to run. But I like the conversation that I had with him because he put into perspective, there's something for everybody. And there are a lot of groups out here that, they run in the summertime only. They run in the spring, or they run spring through fall. In the winter months, they take off. But I had this conversation with Chaos a few years ago, and he was on board with, we keep Movers and Pacers year round. It tied to something I learned when I was in undergrad: quality over quantity. The quality is always going to bring the quantity of people. So we're not concerned about if it's June 25th, the hottest day of the year, and we have 80, 90 people outside, but it's December or January, because January is colder in Atlanta, January 11th, and it's the coldest day of the year, and we have 3-4 people. We still have the same quality because we have people who want to come to us and want to get this work in. So what I love and appreciate is we've created a year-round situation, and with seeing that over time, it's like we see our seasonal people. John only runs in the summer, spring, or a spring, summer, maybe fall. Susan only runs in the fall, winter. Jack only runs in the winter. He's a cold one. I don't know why, but we only see him in the wintertime. But I love that Movers and Pacers has become so versatile to where we get those. That's how we keep and retain the people that are part of the crew, because they know anytime I may fall out of shape, or I may move away, or I have so much going on with life, I don't have to wait until a season to get back with my people. I can come out on Wednesday. I can come out on Saturday. I can come out on Tuesday. I can come out whenever, and they're still there. So I love the fact that Chaos has helped me understand with Movers and Pacers, we're always here. It's not you have to catch us during, business hours or season hours. Movers and Pacers will always be available. So people who don't run on the regular, if they need that community, if they need that involvement, they can always find us.
Yeah, and the fact that this is a year-long or year-round, movement you guys have incorporated in this, it speaks to the very people that you spoke about, how some people are seasonal runners, right? For me personally, I don't like running in the cold either. I'm one of those.
It's a lot of y'all.
don't like that because I feel like I'm gonna end up getting sick. And then, but even to that point, right? Running in the cold would definitely keep the weight off because a lot of times the fall and the winter is when you gain the most weight, and
Right.
summer and spring is when you lose the most, right? So it's maintaining that consistency throughout in any and every season throughout the year, and the fact that you guys have incorporated all 4 seasons of running throughout the year for everyone to be able to run it's amazing, and I think that it should be appreciated a lot more, especially given that there are some people who are just now starting to get into the rhythm of just getting back to working out, especially with this pandemic that's been happening, which leads me to my next question in regards to that, because this past year has been hell and hot water when it comes to people just trying to create a new normalcy for themselves, whether it be their eating habits, whether it be their workout regimens, whether it be just any and everyday life, just living, period. So how is it that, well, for you guys, how have you guys been able to basically fight off or incorporate ways to still have people safely, be invited to different workout sessions or sprints that you guys have throughout the year since this pandemic? Has it been difficult to, get people in or even invite people to these sessions, or how has it been in comparison to pre-pandemic?
I think first and foremost, it's like you got to look at Atlanta and the way that Atlanta has been, for the past year, the good and bad from since the pandemic started. So for us, this thing started in March. March, April, I think all the way kind of through May, we were kind of just promoting virtual running through an program or whatnot. But by the time May hit, people were nudging me to say, hey man, we're tired of this virtual thing and we want to get back up in person. And it was kind of a tough decision, to make. But at the end of the day, we're a crew that's about the people, and it felt like if the people were ready to get back and, felt like that they could, socially distance and take all the personal precautions that they can take, then we would just try it out. So when we came back, the thing we did is we didn't announce, like publicly and stuff where we were running a lot. We just kind of kept it real chill, real kind of low key. And then the people who, were ready to come out came out, but we didn't lose a lot of steam, when we started running back in May, and we were kind of moving around the different locations. Even, we were still clocking, our regular crowd on a Sunday. So didn't lose a lot of steam at all. And I think that's, it has nothing to do with us. I think that's just a lot about, it says a lot about just the city and how the city has been, restaurants have been open for a year. Clubs have been open since, last Memorial Day. And so people have been getting out and getting active and making their moves. And I think, it's this thing is going to come down to a comfortability thing, even going forward. I know people who haven't been out the house in a year, and I know people who've been out the house every day. And it truly just kind of comes down to people's comfort zone. But I think for us, I'm just blessed that, we have been able to kind of get through it without any, just major burdens and between, the whole crew getting sick or things like that. Like we didn't really have any large scale issues, and luckily nobody has perished or passed away anything. And so that's a blessing within itself. And now things are kind of opening more. We're just kind of excited to continue that, do some more things, and pull back some kind of larger running events ideas, and catch up and non-running meeting event ideas we had. So we're just kind of excited to get some of that stuff back.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I'm gonna tag on to that and say, especially during the height of everything, social gatherings, what was it, 6, 10, or however many some people coming together, because we're an outdoor fitness group. A lot of people, they can't sustain that motivation on their own, like, in my living room or in my basement, in my garage. Like they want, or they feel like they need that community, encouragement. So the fact that we were able to provide that for them, people still came out. They took precautions, but it was their choosing of coming out and still having that community encouragement of being able to continue whatever the fitness journey was that they were on. So I'm glad that we were able to provide that for them. And I'll even go so far as to say it's like, I was one of those people that were hesitant because it's like a societal, what's the society going to think if we're posting group photos or, group runs. And it's like, no, everybody says you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. But keeping in mind, we're making sure that everybody's aware we're following guidelines. Are you following guidelines? One, and two, are you personally comfortable with coming into this atmosphere and doing what it is that you need to do? Because we're not, sitting in these four walls, in this small container. We're outside. Yeah. So are you personally comfortable with coming, being with this group of people, but still going and doing your personal thing? Whatever it is that you want to accomplish from coming out from like a flagship or a sprint night. So I'm glad that we were able to still provide that personal opportunity for people, but also still remain the decorum of what all the guidelines were saying over the last year, because society is a heavy, judgment zone. It's a heavy pressure, y'all are out running, why are there 20 people in the picture? Like, 20 people can't, like, we stood in this close proximity with masks on or what have you for like 5 seconds, snapped a photo, and then people spread out and did. So it's like, it's one of those, those social things where it's like, you don't see everything that's happening. Everybody's not congregated. We're not standing whispering in each other's ears, doing XYZ 1, 2, 3, all the things that people are, paranoid about. We're literally coming together, making announcements, and everybody's running whatever they want to run in this community environment. So I'm glad that, like Chaos said, there haven't been any perishes from our group experience, but people have just been very, very cognizant of their personal health as well as their group climate as far as choosing to be a part of and do, group fitness things throughout this entire pandemic, because it has been challenging. It's like, do we risk hosting or, or saying things as a collective? Because who assumes that liability? But thankfully, we've been able to successfully do these things, and people have continued to benefit from it, and nobody has lost or been taken away from throughout the experience.
One of the biggest advantages that I would say that you guys have is the fact that being here in Atlanta, the CDC is stationed here, right? So it's easy for us to be that information to be accessible to us when it comes to following those guidelines. The problem with these guidelines has been it's been entirely too fucking inconsistent when it comes to, okay, doing this 1 minute and then doing something else and the breath. And it's like having these politicians and lawmakers, if you want to call them that, sit here and politicize this damn pandemic and this virus as if, oh, this is something that, we can just do away with. Like, the virus doesn't work that way. And so I know to the point that you brought up, Sean, about, the concerns of the public and in courts of public opinion, you have a lot of people who have a lot of trepidations about doing things in small groups, whether it's inside or outside, especially given the fact that, a lot of things had stopped with concerts, whether it be indoors or outdoors, and people were just taking extra precautions to say, okay, you know what, we're going to postpone that until we get to a better place of containment when it comes to this pandemic. And so the fact that you guys have been able to still, within the bubble of your movement, still be able to maintain the protocols and the requirements that we all should be following consistently, and it not be any issues, speaks to the very things that you guys have been doing responsibly. And so that needs to be commended. And I think that as long as we are taking those precautions, I think it's okay for us to, especially now, even though we're still in the midst of this shit. We're not quite at the end yet.
There's still a pandemic outside. That's what I tell my friends. There's still a pandemic outside.
Come on, man. Don't keep jumping this damn gun and thinking, oh, it's good now, and so we can do what we used to do. And this we're not quite there yet. I mean, this new administration is taking a lot of extensive precautions as it pertains to getting everybody vaccinated. I myself just got vaccinated 2 days ago, and so I got my first shot, my Moderna shot. And so I'm always, if people have trepidations about getting the vaccine, that's on them. all I ask is that you do your research, and you know your body better than anybody else knows it, or at least you should. And so if you know that you have pre-existing conditions that may trigger off or even exacerbate when it comes to this vaccine, then by all means, don't take it. But don't listen to this nonsensical bullshit that's being put out here saying that, oh, this is the devil's, vaccine, and we shouldn't be doing this, and they expedited this without doing further research and experiment. Actually, there is no vaccine that's 100%. And a vaccine is not the cure all for end all. I mean, I'm not a medical expert, but I've actually had my cousin, who is one of the top clinical nurse specialists in the state of Georgia, on the show to talk about just what the vaccine is for, right? It's to help introduce your body to this vaccine so that in the event that you do catch it, your body would not be new to it, and it can fight it off a lot better, especially if you are healthy. And so those types of things need to be researched a lot more when it comes to what we're doing with our bodies and what we're injecting in.
I'm gonna chime in right there and say I've actually had a couple of conversations. I know people that work for the FDA. I know different doctors, nurse practitioners, people that work in healthcare, and I've had plenty of conversations before I got vaccinated myself. And I thought to myself, this must have been what people like when influenza became a thing, when it was a pandemic. I'm sure this is what everybody thought in the initial, like, oh, scientists or doctors are creating this. Does it really work? Yada, yada, yada. But every year people are doing what? They're getting flu vaccinations. People get flu vaccinations and still get the flu. Me, I've never been vaccinated. I've also never had the flu. So I understand that argument as well. But when it comes to the whole government aspect of it, I was listening to another podcast where a lady made a very, very valid point. She said, if it's government-based and they want to know or control all of this stuff that comes down to the person, the government already has that with literally what's in my hand right now, my phone. Like all of this technology and all of these, devices that have been produced and is distributed amongst everybody over the last several years. There are so many chips and like I can talk about, oh, I want Chipotle tonight. And then I get on Facebook and I'm scrolling. I'll see a Chipotle ad. That's not by happenstance. Absolutely. That's literally controlled by, whoever is above, my realm of thinking. But I think we've gotten so far advanced in technology that I don't think a vaccination is justification for when it comes to like government, control. Yeah. As far as people are concerned, like that argument falls flat to me because they have created so many other ways that they can tap into us as people other than giving a vaccination for, this flu. And quiet as it's kept, there were other people, lying about, what their jobs were and what their lives and statuses were to get this vaccination back in January, February. So if those people are lying to get this vaccination, why can't I, under true pretenses, get, what's deserving to me? I'm not too cautious because there are other people that are trying to get this. So it's not like you're pushing this in my face. It's something that I have to even work for in this moment. I have to work to get this quote unquote saving grace or what have you. So, but lastly, the vaccination is still very new. Like I said, during influenza, when that was, new to society, I'm sure there were people that were affirmative, people that were against it. I'm one of the affirmative people, but I'm not going to knock somebody who's against it because I get it. It's not my place to argue why they should get it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. It is what it is.
But the thing is, though, see, I want to interject. I want to actually just speak to that point that you just made about it's their opinion, right? So I'm always of the mindset that opinions are formed based on some facts. If your opinion don't have any damn facts to it, shut the hell up. No one wants to hear you talk. You shouldn't even want to talk in the first place because you form your opinion based on the facts that's been presented in front of you. And so if you're not doing that, then you put the art of misinformation is very dangerous because it leaves gullible and stupid people to believe any goddamn thing these days. And so much misinformation and the misinterpreted information itself too is being put out there so much, plastered on social media and things like that. And when it comes to government control, let's be real about this. me personally, I feel like the shit is very invasive. The fact that I can be thinking something and then that ad pop up on my damn phone. It's like, how did you know I was even talking about this? Like, yeah, they watching us already. So to that point, I firmly agree with you on that. They already know what we're doing and not doing. They got satellites out there in outer space somewhere tracking our every moves and things like that. And so we only have but so much damn privacy when it comes to that. So the vaccination itself, though, I do understand some people's trepidations when it comes to want to get shots and things like that. But keep this in mind: when we were kids, we had to get the flu vaccinations in order to go to school. Now, I'm almost 100% certain that every state had that mandated in their law for Chicago, for public schools. And so, Sean, you said something about being from Chicago. I'm from Chicago too, so I know growing up, we had to get those.
Oh no, I'm from Mississippi.
Okay. I thought I heard you say something about Chicago.
Chicago is the capital of Mississippi. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, you know, if you go down that bloodline, my greats are up in Chicago. So yeah, we connected.
Yeah, my aunts and uncles and granddaddies and them, they all from Mississippi, and I even went to school in Mississippi too. So trust me, I understand how the two tie together. But no, I mean, I do see that some people having legitimate concerns, but that ain't everybody's truth when it comes to, I don't know about this, but you inject your damn body with all types of shit every single day. But this is where the bus stops. Like, come on, man. Like, make this shit make sense if we're gonna try to make sense of all of this. Because I get that everyone is not vaccinated, but still don't get it. I know I've been blessed to not have gotten any flu at any point in time in my life, but even though I have gotten flu shots, and so I'm thankful to God that has never happened to me. And so, as far as this movement itself goes, kind of circling back to this, so I noticed you guys have gained so much traction over the years that you've partnered up with other groups, other organizations, and even other companies too. So, can you talk to me a little bit about just your partnership and the different things that you guys are incorporated with in terms of like working with other companies and doing sponsorships and things like that? How has that been in the last 8 years for you guys as an organization?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's been okay.
Yeah.
Always feel it could be better. I think one of the things that I'm always amazed at is, Atlanta doesn't get as much traction from, a lot of companies and a lot of brands as I see in other cities like Chicago, New York, and LA.
Really?
So, a lot of organizations we work with, there's been a lot of one-off situations and maybe a small amount of folks that are ongoing and consistent.
Yeah.
But I feel like, in my opinion, I think we've only just scratched the surface, and it's so much more to be done. There's a ton of ideas that we have as a group, as an organization, and I'm always, nudging brands and sharing our, just what we do and what we can bring to the table. But to be honest, I just feel like Atlanta is still very naked in terms of what I see, going on in other cities.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily getting the full traction that we deserve, but we have been able to do things with different brands, whether it's Nike or Adidas or Red Bull or V103 and such, and it's been cool. It's been cool, but I think definitely in the future, we're looking to do some more. We want to do some larger things that are more impactful to not only us but our community.
Yeah, I mean, I find it to be very surprising, especially given the fact that Atlanta is such a networking city, right? And it's so many of our young Black men and women, everyday working people who are actually, making things happen and in our professions. One of the main things I love about Atlanta the most is the fact that there's so much opportunity here, so much growth and development here. And I would automatically assume, just off the fact that this organization, this movement itself, has gained so much momentum and traction over the years that you guys have been existing, that it would have been tons of organizations say, I like what you guys are about. I want to partner up with you. I want to do this and do that with you guys. And so, I mean, 8 years is still barely new, right? So in some cases, this is just the beginning. This is still like in the beginning stages. And so the fact that you guys have so many opportunities and plans, from here on, the sky's the limit for you guys. And I think that it's only going to get bigger from here. And as far as mobility is concerned, Sean, what have you been seeing when it comes to just how much this organization has has taken a name of its own and even grown and possibly even influenced other cities and states to do some of the same things. If you guys don't already have Movers and Pacers Chicago or Movers and Pacers Dallas, things like that, or is that something that you guys are looking to possibly do in the future?
Nothing.
There are, so what I've noticed since I've been a part of the crew is there are people that are within the crew that may move to different locations and they want to start something similar to our effect. That's why I call them subsidiaries. Okay. Just because everybody isn't, I'm not gonna say blessed or fortunate, but everybody doesn't stay in Atlanta. So some people may move to Florida, or some people may move to DC, or they may move to, my hometown, Jackson, Mississippi, or Texas, or, California. And they want to recreate what they have experienced and been a part of with our group here. And instead of creating a Movers and Pacers California, or Movers and Pacers, Mississippi, or Movers and Pacers Louisiana, Chicago, it's like, create the environment that you want. And in my mind, we kind of serve as I'm sorry, I'm outside, so if you hear this helicopter passing by, we kind of serve as like the hub, as kind of like the originator, as well as when it comes to partnerships and different ideas, things kind of base here, because people in other places, they try to create not a replica, but something that's similar or something that's consistent with what they've been used to getting while being here and being part of Movers and Pacers.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. I mean, it's just Movers and Pacers were created in Atlanta because it was truly created to fill a void. So a lot of cities already have things, that are popping. So, Chicago has plenty of crews. New York has plenty of crews. DC, got a strong crew with DRC and LA and San Fran. Like, a lot of cities already have plenty of crews. So it was never a thing where, in my eyes, like, we don't have to necessarily go somewhere to try to, take away from something that somebody else is already doing. I think it truly should. You should only really start something and have something somewhere if there's a need for it. You know what I mean? And that's why we started in Atlanta, because there was a true need, for us to exist here. We have recently turned into a nonprofit, so that's new. So going back to your question before, as we go down this juncture, the opportunity to work with more brands and create more partnerships is something that we definitely foresee. And I think there may be the opportunity, for other chapters to, exist in other cities, but it just has to be authentic. It has to be authentic, and it has to make sense to the environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And even to that point, right? So as you guys, again, gain momentum and gain more people, get involved and want to get active with the group, it's only going to, create that stir up. That buzz is going to continue on to get into other people's ears and say, okay, well, I heard about this. Let me check them out. And it may be someone that knows someone else, right? And so CNN may get a hold of you guys, want to interview each and every one of you all who started this organization, and then from that point on, it blows up, exponentially. So it's like those types of things, both long-term and short-term goals that you guys have, I think is very tremendous. The fact that it started with just the thought of wanting to see something that wasn't necessarily there at the time, 8 years ago, to now. Now you guys have gotten to a place where so much traction has been gained. Even during this pandemic, you guys still have been able to maintain the level of success when it comes to being outside, getting your workouts in, and just inviting people, at their leisure, at their time, if it's safe for them to come out, especially given everyone's health conditions differs. It's the fact that you guys are able to even invite them and make it available for them to come out and incorporate whatever ways that they can do to boost their physicality when it comes to their physical health and wellness. I think is a commendable thing to do. So
and Marlon, to that point, literally just yesterday, like Chaos said, we don't have to have a chapter everywhere. There are other run crews in other locations, but we have our Saturday morning self-care Saturday run, and there was a guy visiting Atlanta from Houston, Yeah. And he was here for I think like a week or so. He missed sprints because of weather. We had to cancel sprints, but he said, "Hey, I'm here, for several days. Is there another time I can catch you guys?" And I said, "Hey, well, we'll be out for Self-Care Saturday. If you're here Saturday morning, come run with us." And I met and chopped it up with him yesterday morning. But that's because that's because of a relationship that we have with a run crew in Houston, or a run crew that we have in other places. So it's not so much about us being present in so many locations, but the relationship that we're able to build in these different locations. So if I'm traveling to Chicago, I can reach out to somebody in Chicago and connect with them. If I'm traveling to New Orleans, or somebody that we know is traveling to New Orleans, we have a relationship with 504 crew down there. Go run with them. So we don't have to be present everywhere, but our relationships and our bonds with so many different run crews are effective to where people love to travel, and when they're in different places, they can connect and they can build their own personal networks just as well as we're building who we are.
Yeah, you know what? I want to unpack that for a second. So as far as the networking and relationship aspect, I think that's one of the biggest things that I love about this group, right? Is the fact that you guys have created such an atmosphere for people to come and develop relationships with people, friendships, network professionally, or even just socialize on an everyday basis. The atmosphere itself is so welcoming that people develop friendships on an everyday basis with you guys, with the different sessions that you guys host. And so, Chaos, for you, just from your own perspective, how would you rate, or how would you say that the relationship that you've seen that has developed over the years of this organization, when it comes to individuals meeting each other, becoming accountability partners, being friends, you guys hang out. Sometimes I even seen you guys, do different mixers and just hang out outside of the group, but still in a group like environment when it comes to just overall good vibes and things like that. So how for you, how does that look to you when it comes to just that inspiration?
I think it looks beautiful. I mean, part of our mantra from the onset was like to try to provide inclusive experiences. And I talked about earlier, going to different run crews, but before I started this thing, and how that felt. So my thing is, I never wanted anybody to feel like how I felt on the day where I just turned around and left.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel wanted or supported or any of those things in that environment. Thing is to provide that just environment where people can come and can network and can build with other people. And over the years, I mean, it's been phenomenal. I've watched people meet people that have created opportunities for jobs, whole new circles of friendships. I've watched people become best friends. I've watched people get into relationships, with different people. So I watched all those things kind of over the years, and been able to see inspired through running. And I think it's a beautiful thing. That's one of the things that we're here for. Running the course is key, but it's also networking and inspiring each other and holding each other accountable. And I think we do a great job at it. I can't speak to everybody else, like we do a great job at it, and I feel like that's why people continue to come back and bring new people into the fold as well. It's how Sean heard about us. It's how 5, 6, 7 other people heard about it from Sean, and why they come. And it's
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly how a movement starts and how it grows, right? You invite one person, that person invites 2 people, and so on. And so that continues on each and every year that you guys exist. And so the fact that you see some familiar faces on an everyday basis, or on a weekly basis, or even on a seasonal basis, you guys have developed relationships with those people to a point where you already know, okay, these are my set 5 or 6 people that I know for sure they're going to be here on this day, versus the ones that are going to come during the other seasons and stuff like that. So I think,
look, we got people that met running with us that don't even run with us no more, that still out here besties and best friends, and Yeah, they don't even come to run, but they met through us, and they met through coming out to be a part. So it's deep.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing, man, and I definitely appreciate that just the family, friend structure and environment that you guys have created when it comes to this movement, man, because it's like it's so welcoming and receptive to any and every person who wants to just be active and staying in shape and just maintaining that level of physicality when it comes to our health and wellness, because that's something that we as Black people have to take much more seriously than what we've been doing when it comes to wanting to live longer and healthier lives, man. I know last week I had a certified yoga instructor who was talking about just the fact that one, to grow old and be able to have our postures, being able to walk straight and not be walking on the cane. It's just, we have to incorporate these different things in our everyday lives when it comes to taking care of our bodies. And if you don't take care of your body won't take care of you. And so I do appreciate just the overall atmosphere, because it's not only incorporating that, but it's incorporating just a feel good environment for people to be around, hang out, talk, fellowship, things like that. Those types of things make a person feel better about getting themselves in shape. Because sometimes people get discouraged and down upon themselves, feel like they can't do something until they get pushed by that accountability partner to do it. And then when they ultimately see that they can do it, then it strives them to want to do more. And so that motivation that you guys have been able to incorporate and just provide to everyone is something that's very commendable. Sean, for you, what resonates with you the most when it comes to just the overall environment that you guys have set? Because I know every time I've been out with you guys, you in particular have been just upbeat and positive, energetic, like, hey, man, let's go, let's get it, man. And everybody's in tune with it. We got a little music out there playing. We feeling good. We running our sprints and stuff like that. So tell me, what's the most joyous thing that resonates with you the most?
The most joyous thing with me, it's a story. It's a personal story. I'm trying not to make it too long, but I was born actually with a heart condition. So I was born with a heart murmur. It's basically a hole in your heart. It affects your stamina. So all through my childhood, I could not play sports. I could not do anything that was physically active because of my heart. And it got to a place where, fast forward high school, college, all those years, I didn't do any type of physical activity. I, joined different clubs and organizations, yada, yada, yada. But it wasn't until after college where I graduated and all those organizations, everything I was a part of was gone. It was literally just working home and I was bored. I had nothing to do. And that's when I said, okay, I don't have anything to do. Let me go to this trail. Let me put on some running shoes. I worked at a shoe store. So let me put on these Nike, I think they were Dual Fusions, Chaos, if you remember those. They were Dual Fusions, the 12s. I said, let me put these on and just get out here and do something just so I'm busy, because I was used to being busy. And it was from that point where I started, running ever so often. And then when I moved to Atlanta, a friend of mine from college, she introduced me to Movers and Pacers. That's when I came out and started running regularly. And it wasn't until after maybe 2 or 3 races where I said, you know what? I think I'm a runner. Like, this is what I do. Mm-hmm. So I found joy in running and continuing to do that and being excited about something that I knew maybe a year, 2, 3 years ago, I never physically would have been able to do. It was a personal excitement for me. So I just always showed that while being a part of the crew. And then we got to a point where I'm now a captain or a leader. I love being able to continue to provide that opportunity for other people. So that's, like I said earlier, our spectrum is so wide to where we have people who come out, run 5-6 minute paces because they were track stars back in their day. But we also have people who come out and have never run before. And they can still enjoy themselves because they're doing something that they never thought that they would be able to do. So that's my personal story is Movers and Pacers has gotten me to where I've become a runner itself. I've become a 5K runner, a 10K runner, a half marathon runner, and now I'm a Chicago marathon runner. Like, these are all accomplishments personally that I've attained through being just a part of this running organization. And I love the fact that I can open or even present the opportunity to any and everybody else who may not know that they're looking for it, but may be searching for that opportunity, because but with us, like not even being a seasonal group, but us being year round, it's like there's always opportunity for somebody to get something out of this group. So that's always my personal joy and fulfillment that you may see, you know, coming out to the sprints or to a flagship is I know my personal journey through this group, and I want to continue being that person that allows that journey for other people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what? You're a walking testimony, man, when it comes to that heart condition that you had. And for those of you, for all my followers and listeners who are looking for that encouraging word or that motivation to get up and be active and just overall care more about your physical health and wellness, this is a true testament to those people who may have heart conditions or health conditions. There's just you come at your own pace. You know, yeah, there are beginners, intermediates, and advanced runners, right? So you don't have to sprint because you saw everybody else sprinting from 1 to 30 or 1 to 100 like that. You know, you can obviously work your way up until you get to a place where you can obviously sustain that momentum and that mobility in terms of, okay, this is what I can endure. I can endure this much. Maybe I can endure a little bit more after a while, but it just takes time and consistency to just maintain and being able to just again overall incorporating the everyday things that we take for granted when it comes to our physical health. And so I appreciate you for sharing that, man, because there are some people out here who are just discouraged about, well, I'm overweight, or I have a health conditions, or I may have problems with my arm, leg, or ankle, something like that. And it's just like they're just trying to find that motivation to get them up and say, you know what, I can do this. And so you guys have done a tremendous job with providing just that motivational piece when it comes to, listen, come as you are. I mean, not as if it was a church, right? Come as you are, start where you are, and listen, and together we're going to get to where you want to go, or help you get to where you want to go, because we're all a team in this, we're all a family in this. And so this is a judge-free zone. You ain't going to worry about, you know, anyone looking at you or trying to discourage you from doing something. You know what you're capable of once you get here, and then taking that on and being able to add more to that takes consistency. And so I appreciate you guys for even just talking about that. And Sean, specifically, that testimony is gonna help motivate somebody else to say, you know what, I can do this. I was scared to do this at first, but now I can. I know that I can at least try. Yeah. Nothing fails but a try. And so you failing or not trying should be the ultimate failure that you don't want to do. You want to get up and try at least the basics. And then once you're able to get that down pat, guess what? Now I can.
And that's something. I'll be quick. That's something that Chaos taught me years ago. I think it was 2015. Like, you know, Movers and Pacers, we can have, you know, Netflix documentaries, or we can be on CNN, primetime, yada, yada, yada. But the greatness of the organization is people coming out there and, you know, and knowing I've never run a mile before, but today I did it. And I'm proud about this. So I want to come back and do it again. And not even I want to come back and do it again, but I'm going to tell somebody else who wants to come and see what this greatness is that I've experienced for myself. So a lot of the retention and the sustainability that you've seen for almost 8 years, it's not, we're doing so much, you know, professional media, you know, promos, yada, all these, you know, we're not doing a lot of that. It's literally people coming out, them enjoying their experiences, and them seeing personally, whatever their personal testimonies are, how they're developing or growing, sharing it with other people, and then either inviting those people or those people seeing that excitement in them. Because something that I've learned is you don't have to sell so much of yourself to other people. If you live your best life and you live your true life and you grow from that, people are going to see that, and they are going to ask you, hey, what are you doing? What are you being to be this person that I see? And then they're going to want to latch on to that. So they latch on to Movers and Pacers because they see the people who come out, they better their lives, and they want to be a part of that betterment. And that keeps them coming back year after year or run after run. Literally, like I said, we run 4 times a week, and we've been doing this almost 8 years. That, like, people keep this going, not us. People who see them, they see their better selves, or they feel or experience their better selves over the last 8 years, is what has kept this organization growing and continuing.
Absolutely, man. It's a domino effect, right? So you guys are not just providing one thing. It's so many other things within that one thing that it's providing, to where you're getting a combination of partnerships and accountability partners, friendships, networking, as well as your incorporating your fitness and your workouts. And so during those sprints, you're learning about different people who coming from different parts of the world, who may have either moved to Atlanta or planning to move to Atlanta, and this may be a motivational thing that got them to this place in the first place. So those types of things, man, oftentimes get overlooked by just saying, okay, this is the mere reason why I'm here. I'm just here to work out. But then you find out there was more reasons to why you became not even a member, but just came out to one of these sprint sessions. You learned so much more about it than what you were actually there for. And so that's the ultimate goal, man. And I think that just being able to take better care of ourselves, and the fact that you guys have incorporated such a great way of doing that, I'm definitely looking forward to being out there again with you guys. And so my last question to you guys, I'm going to start with you, Chaos, is that just talk a little bit about the four different sprints that you guys have every week, and how people can reach out to you guys. How can they join the movement, invite other people, things of that nature, and how can they reach you?
Yeah, well, we got a few different things that go on during the week. We have 3 main runs, 3 mainstays, which start with sprints on Wednesdays, self-care Saturdays on Saturday mornings, and our flagship run, which is on every Sunday at Atlantic Station. Times do change, during the seasons. Sometimes locations change, so I won't even give that out. I'll just say, if you're interested in coming to run with us or want to learn more, just the easiest place to go is Instagram, and look up Movers and Pacers, all spelled out, Movers and Pacers. Find us on the gram. Our schedule right now is in our bio. And like I said, it changes from time to time seasonally. So just pay attention to the flyers and things that we posted. As I mentioned earlier, all of our runs are free. We've been free for 8 years. I think that's the question we get, at least once a week or once a month or whatever. How much does it cost to come out?
How much is it to join? How much? What's the drop-in fee?
Yeah, what's the cost? And we've been free since day one, so it's not a cost. You just gotta, it costs you some gas money to get in your car and drive to where we at. But we don't charge people a thing. So just want to make sure we reiterate that. And if you live in Atlanta or the Atlanta metro area, come out and get this work. Come out and put some work in. At the end of the day, it's just about just encouraging people to get active and encouraging people to get off the couch. It's not about being the fastest or being the strongest or any of those things. It's just that knowing that, hey, I did something that a lot of other people didn't do today. I got out and I got active, and especially right now with what we're going through, your cardiovascular health is highly important. Absolutely. And so I just hope people know that we're here, as a resource for them, and hope folks come join us. And if you like what we do, then come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you only charging people 3 things. So it's gas money. No, I'm sorry. It's gas,
sweat equity,
will, and
equity,
will and determination. So
yeah,
it costs you your will and determination to come out there and get this work. So yeah. And the fact that it's free, that's something that people oftentimes, I'm pretty sure you guys get a lot of those questions. And so because there's so many different workout sessions or virtual sessions that people are looking for, so that question sounds like it would come up a lot. And so the fact that you're able to provide that to them free of charge for the last 8 years is incredible. And I'll definitely make sure I provide the information for my viewers and listeners for the show. Your Instagram name and how they can get in contact with you guys, and frequently ask questions and things of that nature, and how they can just overall be a part of the movement, man. Because what the ultimate goal, I think, you guys, or at least for me, is making this movement become the ultimate lifestyle for us. We want this to not just be a trend, not to be a seasonal thing, but this to be incorporated in our everyday life when it comes to our physical health.
Absolutely.
Health is the most important thing that we can do on top of our mental health. But obviously that's another episode that I've already had, and I will be continuing on with that one too, because sometimes the weight that you have to lose ain't necessarily the physical weight, but that
part.
That I had to drop that one out there because my mental health one, it gets real with that one, man. So I'm actually having one in a couple of months with some Black men who are mental health experts and who are counselors in that field. So the fact that encouraging, man, and this is motivating people to get out there and be active even in the midst of this pandemic, but safely, no less. Making sure that you're taking all the precautions. If you want to join this group, if you're in the Atlanta area, make sure you check these guys out, man. Make sure you check this group out. You will not regret it. I'm not giving them enough damn credit and enough recognition to begin with, but I'm gonna do the best I can. Let people know this is the group you want to be a part of because they're doing a lot of great things.
Thank you.
I'm gonna reiterate. We start together and we finish together. That's something that we take serious for every event that happens because I know, I don't remember because it's been so long ago, but I know, especially with new people that we get over the last several years, how big of and the many questions that we get more questions than we do people who actually come out. So that's how we know it's a big thing. Yeah. People have been stalking, like they'll watch our Instagram or our Facebook page for 2-3 years and finally come out for a run. But I know one of the big things is like, like I said earlier, I can't run this fast or I can't run this far or, I don't feel like I can do X, Y. It's all of these, I can't. And something that we always iterate is we start together, we finish together. So, don't worry about, oh, I'm not fast enough or I don't go as far enough or will they leave me? Because the very first time I did my distance run of 6 miles, for the people who may already know with us, our Sunday flagship run, we always start and finish at Atlantic Station on the bridge. And I went out for a 6-mile run. I was the last person. And I'm thinking to myself, coming back, I'm holding these people up. They got their Sundays, life is happening. Nobody's going to be there. I don't know where, I'm finishing by myself. And there's kind of like a bridge situation where you're coming over before you can see what's on the other side. And I'm coming up the bridge. And as I'm crossing over, I see all of the people standing there waiting for me to finish. And it was at that moment where that saying rang true for me. Like, we really do start together and finish together. The fastest person, just as well as me, the slowest person, is finishing because they are waiting for me to finish my race. So it's not so much about a race against other people. Because a lot of times when it comes to running, people think about like, how fast are you? Did you win? Did you beat other people? I beat myself. My shadow is always behind me. So that's why the saying we start together, we finish together, it rings true because so many people really take that to heart. Like, finishing this run that either I've done for the 12th time or the 100th time or the first time in my life, these people are literally standing here cheering me to the finish. They're cheering me to my finish. And I am very, very appreciative of the fact that other people who may not even know me are celebrating my success. So we always start together. We always finish together. And there's never anybody left behind in what we do.
Team effort, man, and accountability is something that we oftentimes overlook entirely. So, and I appreciate you guys for being those accountability partners for those people who may get down on themselves early on in that race or in that sprint, saying, "Well, I can't do this," but that I can't. You already defeating yourself. You're already putting it out there in the atmosphere what you can't do versus what you actually can. You just have to tell yourself that you can't, and then you have to do it. Now, when it comes to your physical health, 90% of it is actually mental, more so.
Right.
So it's the waking up and with that idea in mind, I can do this and I'm going to do this. Almost to a point where when you first start off with doing anything when it comes to your physical health, you get to a place where you're like, I got to go to the gym, or I got to go run, I got to go do this. But when you want the ultimate goal to be, if you don't do those things, you don't feel right about your day. You don't go about your day the way that you would go once you completed that task, because that's part of your everyday life in terms of what you incorporate in your life when it comes to your physical health. So again, I appreciate you guys for even expressing that, because yeah, people do oftentimes get down on themselves and think that they're not going to finish it all. But you got people celebrating you. Hey, come on, you got it. You can do it. That's motivation, man. That pushes more people more times than not. And so obviously self-motivation is where you want to ultimately be, but it's okay to have people being there motivating you to get to where you want to go in life. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys for expressing that tremendously. And I'll definitely make sure, like I said, I include all the information that everyone needs to get in touch with you guys, ask you all the questions they need, and even, come out to one of the sessions too. And I look forward to being in the sessions real soon, man. Cause I'm gonna go full throttle too, man. Cause I miss being out there with y'all, man. Straight up. I really appreciate it.
But the sun is out, the weather's feeling good, man. Come through.
Come on back, man.
Pull up.
We out here.
Sprint out, man. I'm gonna pull up and sprint out. I appreciate y'all, man. And we'll definitely be circling back around and have another conversation like this, because I definitely want to make sure I'm promoting you guys as much as possible, because this is a great thing that you guys have been doing the last 8 years, and just want to get more people involved, especially given that this pandemic has been very discouraging to everyone's lives. And so we're trying to find a way to create a new normalcy for us and for us all. And so this is going to be one of the great ways to do that. So again, man, appreciate y'all for being on the show, taking the time out to answer these questions, and definitely we'll be circling back, man. And you all stay safe, because we're almost at the tail end of this pandemic. So once we're there, don't be surprised that the floodgates open and
Listen, my something that I realized is, 2020 it was nothing that anybody thought it was going to be. It was a learning experience. It was a wake up call for a lot of people. However, I said 2021, it's like, okay, we know what's going on. So now what are we going to do with it? Like, so now, and that's literally what people are doing personally. That's what Movies and Faces is doing, professionally. It's like, we know what 2020 brought. So now what are we going to do? So, ain't no time for, this is happening, that's happening. Cool. We going to keep it moving forward. We're not going to stay stagnant. We're going to keep growing.
Absolutely, man. And so, yeah, man, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel and Spotify. You can find me on Google Podcasts as well as on Apple Podcasts. And make sure you let all your followers and listeners know, and anybody who has questions about just want to incorporate this type of workouts in your everyday life when it comes to your physical health, they can definitely check out this episode later this week. It'll be posted. And again, thank you all for your time, man. I really appreciate you guys, and look forward to being out there with you guys physically soon. So if you have any virtual ones, let me know, because I can also post that too, and let people know about that as well, just in case you guys doing that still.
We do got one, Chaos. You want to let him know about May 9th?
Yeah, we got the Wings for Life. It's a global app run that's going on May 9th, that morning. So you download the Wings for Life app, and you have our opportunity to run wherever you are on the world. We got a Movers and Pacers team on there, so just join the run, or sign up for the run rather, and join the Movers and Pacers team, and you can run from wherever you are in the world.
Okay, and I'll be sure to reach out to you guys, get that information from you guys, so I can make sure I post that in the description of this episode, as well as
Sure. And for everybody, if you hit us on Instagram, it's in the link in our bio right now.
Okay, definitely appreciate that, man. And yeah, we'll be chopping it up real soon, man, physically together and getting these sprints in. So I appreciate you guys for being on the show and taking the time out. So enjoy the rest of your day, man. Be safe, man. And yeah, we'll be talking again.
Thank you for having us, Chief.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
And congratulations.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate that big time, man. It's going to be a
no problem. All right. Appreciate it, Marlon. We'll talk to you soon and see you soon.
Yes, sir. Movers and Pacers.
Peace.
All right.
All right, Chief.
All right. If you like what you've heard from this week's episode and would like to hear more from previous episodes, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel below. You can also find me on social media platforms at Speak to the Mic _podcast show on Instagram and Speak to the Mic podcast show on Facebook. Be sure to also like, share, and subscribe to my Spotify page at Speak to the Mic podcast show. As I put out more thought-provoking content, your opinion and thoughts are needed and appreciated. I thank you all in advance for your support and look forward to hearing from you soon.